May 19th, 8:50 a.m. High Court of Khura'in. May 19th, 9:28 a.m. High Court of Khura'in. Accused lobby.
It's complete chaos outside.
Let's just say the Defiant Dragon supporters demonstrating for Dirk's freedom have taken a very special interest in the outcome of today's trial. They look about ready to string us up if we lose. Trials here are pretty much like the ones back home, but with one major difference. The divination seance. The victim's final memories will become a matter for deliberation. I've heard about that, but they haven't stopped you from winning your cases here in Khura'in. True, but it wasn't easy. Still, the memories of the dead are simply another piece of evidence. There's always a way to deal with them if your client is truly innocent. Well, I know Dirk is innocent, but I have one more big secret. Apollo, in court tomorrow, you may find yourself faced with a truth that is difficult to accept. But I know you, and I know you can handle the truth, no matter what it turns out to be. I know that because I believe in you. You're my son, after all. Dirk, what is that secret you're keeping? Hey, AJ! Here you go, just like I promised. Founder's Orb added. Nice work, Dirk. Dats. Thanks, Dats. Wait, weren't you arrested by the police yesterday? Yup, and I spent the night in the slammer. I had a fine meal, a shower, even a bed. What more could I ask for?
That actually sounds way better than where we're staying.
Just remember, AJ, if Dirk's found guilty today, we'll all probably be found guilty under the Defense Culpability Act too. Yeah, Nahyuta said something to that effect. That witch Kurain wants to take advantage of today to crush our revolution once and for all. The fate of the revolution and every Khura'inese person rests on this trial. We're counting on you, AJ. We'll be fine. I'm gonna win this one. You'll see. The trial will begin shortly, Apollo. Let's make our way into the courtroom. Right. May 19th, High Court of Khura'in. It's D-Day now. All rise. Let the trial of Dirk Sadmati begin. The defense is ready, Your Honor. The prosecution is ready, Your Majesty. So it's really come down to this. Well, don't expect me to hold anything back, Nahyuta. This trial will examine both the murder of Justice Minister Sigatar Khura'in and the assassination of the former queen, Amara Sigatar Khura'in. First, I believe we should address the murder of Minister Inga. Would that be acceptable, Prosecutor Sadmati? Prosecutor Sadmati? Yes, of course. Please proceed. What's with him? How very unlike you, Prosecutor. Is your mind elsewhere this day? Not at all, Your Majesty. Are you really gonna be able to go through with this, Nahyuta? Well, Prosecutor Sadmati, I would be remiss if I failed to voice a concern of mine. I have heard mention that you are son to the accused, Dirk Sadmati. You have heard true. Does that fact pose some sort of a problem, Your Majesty? A father being prosecuted by his own son? Could one possibly deliberate such a case without having personal feelings intervene? Yes, without question. Can he really handle this? Even if it is Prosecutor Sadmati, going against his own father is just... How can the son of a criminal even be a prosecutor in the first place? Dirk! Fellow citizens, you would do well not to underestimate my son. He's not one who will allow personal feelings to interfere with the execution of his duty. Isn't that right, Nahyuta? I will not stop until my work here is done. See? So all you doubters just sit back down before you trip over your own stupidity. The accused will not take the stand without first being summoned. In any case, if Prosecutor Sadmati has no issue with this arrangement, then let us commence the deliberation.
Objection!
What the hell? Garan!
One moment, if you would.
Your Eminence! Your Eminence! What brings you here?
Your Majesty, it would appear that Prosecutor Sadmati does indeed have some reservations.
No! That's not true!
Did you truly believe you could deceive me, Nahyuta Sadmati? One should hold no reservations if one is to stand on these hallowed funerary grounds.
I have none, Your Eminence.
No, it is clear we cannot leave this matter to you. We shall handle the prosecution of enemy of the crown Dirk Sadmati personally, but remain by our side and bear witness to how a true prosecutor enforces the law.
Excuse me, but is the Queen gonna prosecute the case? Is that, kosher?
There is no need for concern. Before we were crowned queen, we served as a prosecutor.
Really? As a foreigner, your ignorance can be excused, but know this. The prosecutor in charge of the Queen Amara assassination case 23 years ago was none other than Her Eminence, Queen Kurain Sigatar Khura'in.
First your Majesty, and now this? Why doesn't anyone ever tell me these things?
I heard she served as the Minister of Justice, but she was also a prosecutor? I'm guessing she probably moved up the ladder from prosecutor to Justice Minister.
We prosecuted that case 23 years ago, but no verdict was ever rendered. We had won guilty verdicts in every case until then, for no lawyer could stand up to us.
I am at a loss for words. To think I would once more bear witness to Her Eminence at work in the Hall of Justice.
Our first trial in 23 years. No quarter shall be given to criminals. We shall prosecute them with all our might.
Now come the final boss.
Oh, what a magnificent sight! The Queen's attire from her prosecutor days. To think we would get to see it once more.
What the?
That's Queen Garan?
Talk about an extreme makeover.
It's all coming back now. The feel of my blood pumping through my veins. Woe to you, O enemies of Kurain, for I shall personally slice, dice, and grind you up into hot feed. I don't suppose I could ask her to roll back to her polite pre-makeover personality. Know this, lawyer.
Yes?
Now that I stand as prosecutor, consider your defense's bench a headman's scaffold. If you wish to leave any last words, I advise you to start thinking of them now. While you still have a head with which to think, that is.
Me? She's dead serious.
Now it is time for the divination seance. Rafa, come forth.
Your benevolence, thank you for gracing us with your presence. Your benevolence, I understand it may be difficult for you, but may we proceed with the divination seance?
Yes, let us proceed.
Forgive me for asking, but are you feeling physically unwell? If so, I would advise you to avoid any undue exertion. Your benevolence?
What's wrong? It's like her mind's anywhere but here.
A lot's happened since yesterday. On top of the murder of her beloved father, she found out that he'd been planning a coup. and today she'll have to experience his death through his own eyes. Yeah, that would be enough to shake anyone up. Still, it seems like she's worse off today than she was yesterday. Yeah, I don't remember her being this depressed.
We must speak with our child. It is a mother's duty to discipline her child, after all. Now, if you would excuse us.
Discipline? Coming from her, I don't like the sound of that at all. Wait. Kurain didn't do something to her, did she? Your Eminence, about today's divination seance. As I understand it, the prosecution has yet to review its content. Is this deviation from protocol a part of your plan?
Prosecutor Sadmati, would you care to explain your actions?
Your Eminence, the accused was caught at the scene of the crime. Therefore, I deemed no seance would be necessary for such a clear-cut case.
You and your bleeding heart. You seek to spare Rafa the trauma of witnessing her father's death. Is that why you have done this?
Not at all.
You are concerned for me, Prosecutor Sadmati?
That's oddly compassionate of him, all things considered. Your Eminence, your Majesty, regardless of what is best for her benevolence, this case is blessed with a bounty of incontrovertible evidence, so I believe we could reach a swift verdict without devoting precious time to a seance. You have a point. Personally, I would like to spare her benevolence any undue misery. Experiencing the murder of a loved one is a burden no one should have to bear.
Prosecutor Sadmati, your Majesty, can this trial truly proceed without a divination seance?
I can't blame her for not wanting to experience her father's murder firsthand. Your Eminence, what are your feelings on the matter? Shall we have her benevolence return home for some much-needed rest?
We shall not. You fools spoil her with your feckless words of compassion. Listen well, Rafa. You have spoken time and time again about how grown up you are now. Yes, but... So let us see if the royal priestess has truly come into her own. Are you prepared to fulfill your duty and perform a divination seance as you should? Yes. That's better. See? Problem solved.
Poor Rafa. Is this really a good idea? I guess we'll see.
Very well. Let us begin. The divination seance. Naina, my robe. Oh.
Looks like Naina's still missing. It's been a whole day already.
Barbed head.
Yes?
You remove my robe.
What? Why me? Don't keep her benevolence waiting now, Mr. Wright. Can't you see she's ready to begin? Great. I've been reduced to royal robe remover. It's like she's grooming Mr. Wright to be Naina's replacement. Very well, your benevolence. Please start when you're ready.
Come, Rafa. You know what must be done. There is no turning back now. I know.
The final memories of the deceased. This should be interesting.
O Holy Mother, we hold this divination seance in your name. Let the eyes of everyone here be clear and our ears be unstopped. O dance of devotion, guide the victim's soul to me, so that we may receive their final memories in the pool of souls.
but nothing's happening. Rafa! Your benevolence! What's wrong?
This is unacceptable.
Bailiff, take her benevolence to the first aid station at once. This is not good. Your Eminence, do you have any idea why her benevolence collapsed so suddenly?
It seems she was not ready for what the deceased was to reveal. It overwhelmed her. Her inexperience and immaturity left her ill-prepared to face her father's death. And she said she could go through with it. How very disappointing.
I know someone who's not winning Mother of the Year ever. I mean, of course, Rafa's gonna be overwhelmed.
She's still just a child. It seems we have no choice but to move on to witness testimony. Your Majesty.
Oh, yes. Let us proceed. Bailiff, summon the first witness, if you would. Dirk. Is this not the accused?
It is indeed. I thought I would give him the opportunity to plead his case. For true justice is more than a unilateral presentation of the facts by the prosecution.
That seems uncharacteristically fair of her.
However, should the accused fail to produce convincing testimony, he, along with his cabal of traitorous lawyers, shall immediately be found guilty, and their heads will roll from their shoulders.
What? I should have known there was a catch. Your court, your rules. Same as it always was, I see, Kurain. Now then, Mr. Dirk Sadmati, if you could enlighten us as to what happened. Well, I would if I could. Witness testimony. Dirk explains himself. I was struck by a sudden dizziness the moment I entered the tomb. The next thing I knew, I was standing there with a bloody knife in my hand. And lying right in front of me was Inga, dead as a doornail. No recollection of what happened in the interim. But I didn't kill him. At least, I don't think I did. It'd go against everything I believe in.
That didn't explain squat. For the record, let it be known that the accused's fingerprints were all over the murder weapon. And since he was caught in the act, there was no chance for a third party to tamper with it.
Well, that certainly seems to point the finger at you, Mr. Sadmati. Even as a lawyer, I have to agree with you there, Your Majesty.
Seriously, Dirk? This is no laughing matter. This is exactly what Kurain wanted. To have Dirk try to plead his case only to fail miserably. How low can she go? Prosecutor, behold this most unpleasant of spectacles and let it be etched into your soul. See how instead of accepting the inevitable, those fish-brained lawyers flounder and flop themselves straight into the abyss of despair.
Yes, Your Eminence. Show me the way. Now then, would the defense please begin their cross-examination? We're gonna have to press in order to find out. We're dealing with a prosecutor that makes Manfred von Karma seem tame. I was struck by a sudden dizziness the moment I entered the tomb. The next thing I knew, I was standing there with a bloody knife in my hand.
Do you recall anyone ever putting the knife in your hand, Dirk?
Wish I could say I did, but I don't remember a thing from before I came to. You think there might have been a third party in the tomb, son?
Yeah, because if you didn't do it, then the real killer must have been there with...
Objection!
God damn it.
You called, Your Eminence? Does she go anywhere without those goons?
Was there a third party in the tomb when you were securing it?
No, Your Eminence. We searched high and low, but found no one of the sort.
And there you have it.
Oh, right. They did search the place.
Furthermore, my guards had the entire tomb surrounded, so there was no way for anyone to escape.
That's right. No one got in or out without our knowledge. Her Eminence's on-site directives were absolutely flawless.
Ugh. Do you see now? The presence of a third party is beyond the realm of possibility. The tomb was, for all intents and purposes, completely sealed off from the rest of the world.
What a waste of time.
How can it be any more obvious? Dirk must be the killer.
Thanks for nothing, gallery guy. As if our graves weren't already deep enough.
Accused, what do you believe about the possible presence of a third party?
Well, based on the situation you presented, I'd say the chances are slim to none.
You didn't have to agree with her, Dirk. Let the accused statement be added to his testimony.
Very well, Mr. Sadmati, if you would.
It's like the more we press, the thinner our case gets.
Well, let's keep pressing and maybe we'll work out the wrinkles in it too. The possibility of a third party being there in the tomb is probably non-existent. And lying right in front of me was Inga, dead as a doornail. I have no recollection of what happened in the interim.
Hold it!
A day's passed since the murder.
Haven't you remembered anything in that time?
My memory is a complete blank. It's as if that part of my brain has been scooped right out.
How very convenient. But even if you've no memory of the event, your guilt is without question. There is nothing more to debate.
You're forgetting one thing, Kurain. I have no motive.
You lead a band of insurgents that seeks to overthrow the government. I would say that alone is motive enough to slay our kingdom's minister of justice.
I've declared countless times that I lead a bloodless revolution. I forbid violence and murder, even if some younger members may have a thirst for blood.
A bloodless revolution? He wouldn't really have a motive in that case. Is that an important statement?
Yes!
That was an important statement. I'd like my client to add it to his testimony.
Very well then, the accused will please do as the defense has requested. I don't have a motive for killing Inga. After all, me and my ilk seek a bloodless revolution. But I didn't kill him. At least I don't think I did. It'd go against everything I believe in.
Can you state that you didn't kill him more definitively?
How can I when I have no memory of what happened?
Well, can you at least state whether or not you are a murderer?
That I can do. I am not a murderer, and I would never kill anyone, no matter the circumstances.
Objection! And do you have any evidence to support your claim that you did not kill the minister?
Evidence? No. Can't say I do.
In that case, you will strike the statement, "I didn't kill him," from your testimony.
Wait, you can't just discard testimony like that. I mean, I'm the one cross-examining the defendant and all.
Hold your prattling tongue, foreign devil. I am the queen of this kingdom. And the queen is the law. As such, I need not follow the laws that are in place. I can make and break them at will.
Henceforth, the accused will refrain from stating I didn't kill him.
What?
Sure, whatever. It's the Kurain show after all, same as always. Though, I guess there's no evidence that proves I didn't kill him either. Now we gotta go all the way back to statement 3. This, the mysterious bloodstain.
Objection! Your Eminence, I'm afraid this trial will not go exactly as you anticipated, because I can show how there might have been a third party in that tomb. Oh, how very fascinating. Go on, I do so love a good fairy tale. We did a luminol test at the crime scene, and we found a bloodstain that didn't match the Justice Minister's blood.
I will remind you that neither Dirk nor Miss Fey were injured during the incident. The thing is, this bloodstain we found had been wiped up by someone. What's this? But who would have done such a thing? That's the big question, isn't it? Who wiped up the blood and why? Thinking about it logically, it must be someone who wanted to conceal their presence at the scene of the crime.
Oh, and to whom do you suppose the bloodstain might belong?
The bloodstain belongs to the real killer. The bloodstain belongs to the real killer, of course. Whoever it was, they were probably shot while they were attacking Minister Inga. And since their blood would give them away, they had to wipe it up. I say this because we know for a fact that the Justice Minister fired his gun in the tomb.
Objection!
You have the memory of a flea. There was nowhere for anyone to hide. This, too, is a known fact.
Objection!
Oh, is that right? But a bloodstain from a third party means there must have been someone hiding there.
Very well, then. Tell me this. Where was this third party hiding?
The crime scene was thoroughly searched after it was discovered. So if there was a hiding place, it would have to be somewhere no one would dare look. Someone where no one would dare look. Let's have your answer, defense. Now, where could a third party have hidden? The sarcophagus.
Take that!
There's one place no one would search, not even the Queen's Royal Guard, and that would be inside Queen Amara's sarcophagus. Even now, it's locked up tight. No one would find you if you hid in there. I'm told that it's temperature controlled to preserve the mummy within, but if someone dressed warmly enough, they could withstand the cold for a short time. This is sacrilege! Surely the perpetrator of such a foul deed would be cursed! But that's just it. The killer knew everyone would be too scared to open the sarcophagus. True, the guards were so scared of being cursed they wouldn't even touch it. And when the coast was clear, the killer made a quick escape from within their frigid confines. Well now, that does sound like a plausible method of evading capture. The defense requests a DNA test on the bloodstain, and then we'll see just who the real killer is.
Such insolence!
God damn it!
Bow your head and kneel, lawyer. So your head may be parted from your shoulders.
Huh? But the trial's not even over. Whoa!
How soon you forget. You already on the headsman's scaffold. As such, I could order your beheading at any moment.
All I did was request a DNA test.
There is no need to request such a test.
Royal Guard, bring it forth now. Here you are, Your Eminence.
The police have already identified the source of the bloodstain. The DNA test revealed that the blood is of the traitor Dirk Satmari.
What? But Dirk wasn't injured, so where did his blood come from? Maybe he coughed it up. Dirk's illness. Still, there was a lot of blood. Could he have really coughed up that much? And did he wipe it up to hide his failing health? Dirk, is it really that bad? Ah, shoot. You got me.
Pay attention, horned devil, for this case has already been solved. You claim that this bloodstain would lead us to the real killer, did you not?
About that.
Did you or did you not make that claim of your own volition, defense?
Yes, I did. After she steered you in that direction, that is. Ugh, I fell right into her trap.
Do you see now the folly in opposing the very embodiment of the law? Whatever you say or do shall come to no avail. A third party at the scene of the crime is beyond the realm of possibility.
No! Praise be for Queen Kurain! Her Eminence's legal tactics are beyond compare. I hate to say this, but she really got us good.
The key to Amara's sarcophagus is under the protection of the royal family. My husband and I are the only ones who could open it. Therefore, it would be impossible for some knave to open it.
Can I really discount the sarcophagus as a hiding place, though? What if the real killer is still in there? No, that's just ridiculous.
I believe we have rebels and sympathizers in the gallery today. It is to you I speak. Have you been listening? Dirk Sadmati, the one who proclaimed a bloodless revolt, has betrayed your cause by resorting to murder.
No, it can't be. Dirk would never. There must be some kind of mistake. The Defiant Dragons and their sympathizers are starting to have doubts. So this is why Kurain allowed us to cross-examine Dirk. By establishing his guilt in Inga's murder, she's effectively damaged his reputation among those who support him.
True, but now we have an even bigger problem. And now, filthy lawyers, you will honor your end of the bargain. Accept your guilty verdict for your failure to explain your client's actions.
Huh?
Now I shall pass judgment upon the criminal Dirk Sadmati.
What's this? You shall pass judgment? But your eminence, is that not my role?
Hold your tongue. You are but a figurehead before me, the embodiment of law. Consider yourself dismissed. As Queen of Kurain, I shall now pass judgment upon the accused.
Up yours!
Objection!
Oh no! Wait! You didn't even give me a chance to rebut!
Know when you are defeated, lawyer. But just this once, I am willing to show you the depths of my compassion. Tell me why I should allow these proceedings to continue. Come, convince me.
Quick, Apollo! Even if you have to bluff, we've got to keep this trial going. Show her that the crime could have been committed by a third party. How am I supposed to do that? Oh, why don't you start with, how about the timing of Inga's murder?
What?
This whole case is built on a single premise, that Inga was murdered after Dirk entered the tomb. But what if that's not true? Like if our assumptions are all wrong? It just might work. Well, don't keep us waiting, defense. Dirk became the prime suspect because it didn't seem probable that there was a third party at the scene of the crime. But there is another question we should ask ourselves at this time. Was Minister Inga really killed after Dirk entered the tomb?
What nonsense is this?
Setting aside the assumption that the murder occurred after Dirk arrived on the scene opens up the possibility of a third party committing the crime. The question before us is, when was Minister Inga really killed? Before Dirk entered the tomb? Isn't it possible that before Dirk even set foot in the tomb, Minister Inga was already dead? That would certainly make the possibility of a third party more probable. Why, of course. I fell unconscious right after I entered the tomb. Even if I hadn't, I wouldn't have had a clear line of sight to his body from the entrance. Which means you wouldn't have noticed his body either way. This scenario is entirely possible. And so we can't rule out the possibility of a third person committing this crime. I see. Well, that certainly does make sense. So far, so good. This might actually work.
Very well. I shall play along with whatever little game you have knocking around that tiny mind. I was starting to get quite bored of all this. I could do with a distraction. Yes! Let us hear some testimony that will shed light on when exactly the minister was slain. Bailiff, summon Rafa. Surely she has recovered by now.
But what about me? Don't I serve a purpose anymore? I hope you are feeling better, Your Benevolence.
Must I perform the divination seance?
What? Oh, no. We merely require your testimony this time.
How could my testimony be of any value?
Your Benevolence. Princess Rafa seems awfully depressed. After what she's been through, summoning her again is like rubbing salt in the wound. Being unable to perform the seance was probably the last straw.
I hope she doesn't pass out again. Prosecutor Sadmati, may I ask you something?
Of course, Your Benevolence.
I've been meaning to ask you this since yesterday. Did you know about Queen Amara? And about me?
From where did you hear such a thing?
From Mother, and only yesterday. Rafa was carrying on about telling the truth to the people. So I told her what the truth really was. For it is up to a mother to discipline her child.
I see. Be that as it may, Your Benevolence, it has no bearing upon our trial here today, so there is no need to let it trouble you.
I know.
Kurain told Rafe about something other than Amara's status? Sounds like it, but what could it be?
Rafa, the defense has proposed something preposterous. They somehow think your father was already dead when Dirk entered the tomb. But I believe you can prove them wrong. Are you prepared to do what is required of you? Yes, I am ready to testify.
Very well then, Your Benevolence, your testimony, if you please.
Witness testimony. What Rafa witnessed. On the day of the murder, I was gazing upon the courtyard from my second-floor veranda. Around 2:30 p.m., I saw my father heading for Amara's tomb. Then at about 2:45 p.m., I saw Barb heading company into the courtyard. I saw no one go in or out of the tomb after my father entered at about 2:30.
Your second-floor veranda? Oh, she must be talking about that house facing Ing's private residence. So that's the location from which you saw your father, at about 2:30?
Yes, and shortly after that, you people arrive at the royal residence.
So after the minister entered Amara's tomb at around 2:30, no one went in or out of there until the murder was discovered.
The tomb is closed to outsiders, so no one could have snuck in before the murder. That rules out any possibility of a third party lying in wait to slay my poor husband.
Or so she'd like us to believe.
Now hear me, you useless lawyer. Cease this charade and bow before me, for I, Queen Kurain, shall finally have your head.
Ugh. Forgive me, Your Eminence, but first let us allow the defense to question the witness.